All right, we are back with the marriage edition of our disability and intimacy series. And this video is beginning with a big warning. Alert, alert, alert. 2 family members of ours, close friends of ours, even acquaintances of ours. If you proceed with this video, you waive all rights to be uncomfortable, to say anything to us about the video. Don't watch it.
And we
okay?
prefer that you didn't watch it. But that being said, this isn't like what is about to follow is not X-rated.
No, obviously we won't be.
So don't worry, everyone.
Graphic, but we're talking about intimacy, and it's not a conversation that I would have with my mom.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Mom, close the tab.
Shane, where are we?
We're in your stretching position.
We're in our basement.
Yeah.
We're in your stretching position.
Well,
Shane has never seen what stretching looks like on a human being.
That is not true. I know better than anyone.
Yeah, that's true. You did a lot of stretching in physical therapy. I'm trying to learn how to do a split. It's my latest thing.
Unrelated to intimacy.
Shane, I am so far away from being able to do a split, it's not even funny.
Even further than me, if you believe it.
Yeah, pretty much. So anyway, I'm going to be doing my daily stretches. I'm following like a 5-minute regiment, and we're going to do that while we answer these Q&A questions that you've compiled for us.
Yeah, so we put up a thing saying, ask us about intimacy.
Yep.
And we picked some, but also leave your comments below if you have more questions, because we got so many that this is going to be a multi-part series.
Oh boy.
So here we go.
But before we begin, Shane, we have to take a quick break to show you the best cinematic piece of work that we have made in a long time. We hope you love it.
You're about to be very impressed.
Here we go.
Hey, you ready for dinner?
No, my mom's cafe burned down. I'm trying to figure out who did it.
Oh, my God. That's terrible. I'll call the police.
Oh no, it's not in real life. I'm playing Love and Pies. Your mom's cafe burns down, and your aim is to help build back a thriving business and solve the mystery of the fire.
Okay, so should I just still get takeout?
Yeah, how could I possibly stop now? I'm trying to figure out if I can trust Joe.
Joe.
Yes.
Okay.
Joe.
Hey, baby. Wanna watch a movie?
The freaking cat ran away. That's really my #1 priority today.
We don't have a cat.
Freya's cat, Marshmallow, from Love and Pies. I'm very busy, Shane.
Okay. Well, I hope you find Magenta or whoever.
Marshmallow.
Baby, guess what day it is?
Monday?
My birthday. I thought we could celebrate.
Oh, well, Sven is kind of building me some tables later, so I really need to keep baking.
Okay. Happy birthday to me.
Are you ready for bed? I'm excited to cuddle.
How am I supposed to make 2 apple pies and an Americano in the midst of a full-on arson investigation? I am up to my neck in customers.
Love and Pies?
Love and Pies.
Love and Pies is a free-to-play Merge 2 mobile game that can be played on a mobile phone or a tablet. The objective of the game is to merge baked goods, serve them to customers, earn tips, and decorate your cafe. It's so easy to pick up and play, and I play a lot. There's a new leaderboard event called Customer Clash that you can participate in, completing orders Wednesday to Saturday. You get points in friendly competitions against other players. For now, it's exclusively available to some players, but Love and Pies hopes to bring this event out to all players soon. So Shane and I encourage you to join in on the fun and download Love and Pies for free on iOS and Android. All right, we are back from something that I'm very proud of.
I have to say, the fact that I am not a professional actor at this point is shocking.
It is upsetting. It is upsetting that we are still not professional actors. Okay, we are going to start with the first question on the list. which is funny. Do you feel uncomfortable answering these types of questions? That kind of leads us into the rest of these types of questions.
I think the fact that Hannah is actively doing a different activity while we do them might be indicative of our discomfort.
I'm starting. Like my stretching. I have to start.
Okay. I don't feel very much discomfort. I've written about my sexual function in my book, so like no.
You don't?
Not really. I want to honor our privacy, and that is like.
You barely do though. I think like you would answer so many more questions than I allow you to put on that list.
Yeah.
I vetoed things, and you were like, "Who cares? Like, I want to answer this one." And I'm like, "Nope, no, we're not gonna do that."
I would say I'm immature, short-sighted,
and you have no shame.
unprofessional,
Yeah.
and shameless.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Chloe.
Okay, Chloe's like, and with that list of adjectives, I'm out.
So I don't really feel bothered by this. Hannah's more private than I am.
Yeah.
And feels shame.
I run everything through a much bigger filter than Shane does.
So the fact that you're doing this right now, here is a testament to.
Well, but the thing is, I'm not uncomfortable with anything that we're going to say. You know, but like you would say a lot of other stuff, you know. I'm not saying like I'm really uncomfortable doing this. I'm saying like I'm not doing the things that I'm uncomfortable.
Right.
The questions that we have, I have approved. And I'm doing this stretch where I'm supposed to tilt my pelvis forward to stretch my hamstring, and I feel like I'm dislocating my kneecap.
That's a sign to stop doing like you're doing.
Ouch.
Maybe you just don't need to do a split.
Oh, I do though.
Like maybe that's not in store for you.
Now I need to do this back of my leg.
Question number 2.
Since getting married, has your intimacy changed in any way?
So
the lead up to this Q&A series was that it is our 3-year anniversary, wedding anniversary coming up.
In like a week.
But we've been together for 7.5 years.
No, not a week, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
I don't know, when's our anniversary?
Oh, Shane, it's coming up, and we have a couple of weird anniversaries with how our wedding worked out, but it's 3 years, so that's why this question, for context, that we have been married for 3 years.
I think the simplest answer is yeah. Without a doubt, our intimacy is different in ways than it was when we met.
Yeah. In 7 years, yeah.
When Hannah used to visit on like her weekend visits from college, like the urge and the need to just be like physically close was palpable.
Yeah.
Now, like we
we're
live
together.
We're together all the time. It's okay if we're not.
So the urgency. She's whining. Chloe.
She's licking her lips. Okay, we have to put our dog back upstairs. Anyway, yeah. So the urgency is not the same as it used to be. I think an improvement is that like the comfort level that we have with one another is way higher.
Yeah, that no embarrassment or anything like that you have at the beginning.
Do you remember in the early days, like, I maybe never really talked about this, but like the feeling you have in the back of your mind when you're like getting into intimacy early on, and you're like, is this okay? Like, and does she hate it? Like, is this fine? I hope she's happy.
Yeah.
And you're so nervous that.
Yeah, and now you know the other person a lot better, so it's not that way. Definitely.
Yeah. So those are 2 big ways that it's different.
Yeah. All right. How did you initiate the conversation about how intimacy would work?
Do you remember?
Well, we probably answered this in a previous video, like years ago when we first talked about this, 3 or 4 years ago. So we probably had a better answer then because we were closer to when it happened. How did we initiate the conversation? Did you think you had maybe written anything about intimacy at the time?
You kind of like...
That I had already read?
Yeah, you definitely read my blog, where I definitely talked about the fact that, like, sexually everything works, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that my disability doesn't affect that.
Yeah, but I also remember reading a chapter that you wrote that you scrapped from your book.
What chapter? I don't remember.
Okay, I'm going to cut here.
Oh,
to burn into my mind.
Okay.
And now Shane's laughing. We're cutting back in. The chapter that I just described to him, that actually I think was cut from your book at my request. Thank God.
It was vivid. Let's put it that way.
It is exactly what we were saying before, where Shane has no filter, and I...
That's it.
And you know what?
And
everyone
rightfully
else who, would have read that or been implicated in that chapter should be thanking me. So
like you were aware.
I had read, and I'm not even sure, that honestly might have been like later into our relationship. I don't remember exactly when that was. It was like first 6 months, but I'm not sure if that's what like started our conversation about intimacy. It probably wasn't, but that was I remember reading about intimacy. And
like,
then I mean,
knowing No Filter me, I bet you I like texted, like when we were being like flirty, I bet you I texted something that like initiated a conversation about that.
Yes.
Just so that I could like make sure you knew that like I could do that.
Oh, I remember you texting me things that were not like disability related, but like obviously very like flirtatious.
Intimate.
Very intimate.
Very intimate.
Yeah. So I didn't have any.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever assumed that it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
I just didn't, because I knew you had multiple previous relationships. I knew that you had like written about this.
The way you emphasize multiple made it sound like there have been hundreds.
Well, they were like...
You were like, multiple.
You know what's funny to me? This is so funny.
We're getting off topic here. I might leave for this
We are getting off topic, but I saw a comment. It was on like your most recent reel about... It was a podcast clip, just funny, of us being like... You being like, we're so classy, okay?
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't even that funny. It was literally just like a moment.
Okay, I thought it was pretty hilarious. But...
Hilarious of you. Anyway, but some person who I had restricted, like I clicked on their name and it was like, would you like to unblock? And I was like, this checks out. Commented, just being like that they don't believe we're a real relationship. But they were like being very diplomatic about it. They were like, I honestly don't think they're like horrible people. Like, they're a little bit boring and I think they're lying, but like
it's mean.
They have some content that I've watched, and I was like, okay. Anyway.
However,
they're proof of like, someone responded being like, why do you think they're faking? And they were like, well, he's had 2 girlfriends before Hannah, and that is just absolutely unbelievable. Like, I don't buy it. And I was laughing to myself being like, you think he's had 2 girlfriends because that was when he was writing a book, like they're in his books and like in his blog, and he has had previous girlfriends before that were not written about, and so they're just like imagine if they knew that you had more girlfriends than like,
their minds would have melted. There are girlfriends that I've not written about.
And like I've never even said that publicly, but I was just like giggling at this person being like, well, he's had 2 previous girlfriends.
Well, thanks for outing me, Hannah, as having had...
I know, I hope that person watches this video and is like...
Dozens and dozens of...
Anyway, I didn't have any concerns. And then like the first time there were any like conversations about specifics, logistics would be like in the moment. It wasn't like pre-planned.
Yeah. And that was just like silly and fun.
Yeah,
like,
that was
there was no like, okay, what should we do?
Yeah.
It was just like, having fun and laughing about it.
Yeah, exactly. Any suggestions on how to guide my 10-year-old son with muscular dystrophy on sexual health?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
I wanted to share that like my sexual health education was standard growing up, and that got me to where I am today.
Mm-hmm.
I can't draw a direct line from that to where I am now, but like I took health class with my peers and learned about puberty and all that the way that every other student did. My parents never really talked about like, here's how things might be different, or here's what you need to think about your disability. Like, because I have normal sexual function.
Well, that's the thing.
I think it just wasn't a topic.
I was gonna say, because like there weren't any specific concerns where you were like, that doesn't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have that. I do think you probably had moments where you were like, a girl wouldn't want to date me.
Yes.
But that's different than like, this wouldn't biologically work.
Yep. And that's what I wanted to get to, was like, I think the bigger thing is encouraging your child to see themselves as valuable and worthy of relationships.
Yeah.
like anyone else.
Yeah, and showing them examples if possible, like
Yeah, show them
exposing
our
to that.
videos.
Well,
Maybe
be careful
not.
which one you choose.
Maybe not that.
Okay.
How's your split coming along? Are you?
Well, terribly. You want to see, after I stretch, I'm supposed to be able to
Are we
get a
getting
little
Are we
closer.
getting the demo here? Don't hurt yourself.
That's it. Do you think it's better than 3 days ago when I began?
Yeah. So much better.
Ugh, it's this
You're up
hamstring.
far. You're right. Yeah, hit it. That'll help. You're really far.
I'm going to get there.
It
Oh,
looks-
and you know how cool I'm going to look when I can do a split?
So long.
I'm going to do it all the freaking time.
Just down here in the basement.
No, I'm going to do it in public, everywhere I go.
That'll actually increase the interest of our vlogs. Probably.
Yeah, and I'll wear a Squirmy and Grubs shirt.
And suddenly Hannah's doing a split in Burger Town.
All right, next one. How do you handle differences in libido?
Just by communicating and acknowledging that we're not always going to be on the same page at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a cause for annoyance or anger or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You nailed it. All
All right, so that's part one
Yeah.
of our married, disabled. We're getting a lot of adjectives here.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll do the rest of them in the basement. This can be where we do all of them.
By the end, Hannah's going to do a perfect split.
Oh my god, wouldn't that be fun if if I worked really hard between now and the next one and I was halfway there and then in the last one, I was in the split the whole time?
I can't think of a single thing that would be more fun.
I agree.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.